episode of Thinker versus Speaker, where I, Marissa the Thinker, sit down with different guests and we talk about all things, anything, everything, life, love, relationships, spirituality, literally whatever we want to talk about. So, with that being said, sometimes we do dive into some sensitive topics. It might get a little bit triggering. So, if you are easily triggered, I understand. Do what it is that you gotta do, because it ain't no telling what we gonna talk about. But here's your warning. Otherwise, if you into that type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Strap up, tune in, come join us. Let's have a conversation. Yeah, I think that's the whole intro. I don't remember. If you can't already tell by the title of the show, it's a Trust the Process. And you know how it is, a compilation episode. This is episode 30. Episode 30 of the newest season. Me being solo, like the new season started when I went solo. And like the fact that we are here 30 episodes in after everything that it is that we've been through, boy, it's been a journey. It's been one hell of a journey, and I just want to personally thank each and every one of y'all for sticking in there, still listening, still putting other people on. We're growing, especially on YouTube. Shout out to y'all if y'all over there. If you watching me on YouTube, go ahead, hit the like button, drop a comment. Do some interactions or whatnot. But you know what I'm saying? Like, thank y'all for all of the support. It does keep me going. Besides just loving what it is that I do, that's really why I come back every week. It's just because I love what I do. I love having these different conversations, and I just wanted to highlight, all of the different conversations that we had. Let's get the cat out the bag. This episode is a lot longer than what I like to make them, but there were just so many different conversations that it was hard for me to pick, and I tried to pick from as many people as I could, but I knew I wasn't able to get to everybody. So if I didn't get to you, it doesn't mean I didn't like your episode. It doesn't mean I don't fuck with you. I just tried to fit as many in as I could, and if I forgot trust, like there would be other trust processes I'm across them bases. But you know what I'm saying, I wanted to highlight as many of these conversations as I could, because it's just been so many different amazing conversations that we've been having over the last few months. Like, I went solo back in September, and here we are in April, just blessed, growing. If y'all didn't know, I've been doing this off of my phone the entire time. Everything off my phone, doing the best that I can, you know what I'm saying? We done leveled up, even though y'all can't see it, like, you know what I'm saying? I got the new MacBook, got my microphone, I got my headphones, like, we should be going to a video format pretty soon. Just growth, so much growth, and I'm happy for the journey. So like I said, this episode is a little longer. So I'm definitely not going to spend too much time talking. I'm going to let the episodes go ahead and do the work for us. But I just wanted to get on here and, say thank you. And, welcoming in a new chapter of Thinker versus Speaker. I got some fire episodes coming up for the next season. I already know I got some things lined up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking to my dad again. He's going to interview me instead of me interviewing somebody. So he's going to, you know what I'm saying, ask me some things so y'all can get to know me, Marissa the Thinker, a little better. Then, you know what I'm saying, after that, we going to have, I don't know which ones comes first, y'all. I don't know the order yet. I'm still working on that. But, and then I get to talk. We got Ashton coming back. I don't know the order of these episodes, but we got Ashton coming back. We gonna start talking into some things. We're gonna talk about, you know what I'm saying? Because the question on my mind that I want to ask him is just like, are people really sleep? You know how they say woke and then sleep? Like, are people really sleep? or are we just choosing to turn a blind eye to things that make us uncomfortable? So we're gonna get into those kind of things, talk about really like the state of woke and being woke and being asleep and all those kind of things, like ignorance being a choice, basically. And then I also get to talk to my cousin who is a school administrator, and we get to tap into that world. Now that I'm really excited about, because it's so many questions like in this climate with school shooters, working with kids, and you know what I'm saying, what it's like to work with kids in this generation, AI, all, social media, like literally so many conversations with her. But we gonna start with this school shooter. I guess I want to call it an epidemic. This school mass shooting epidemic that we going through right now, figuring out what it's like to, you know, work in those types of environments and trying to navigate that. So definitely a lot of conversations coming up that I'm super excited about. If you want to come to the show, be a part of the show, anything like that, you want to help join the team, help, you know, keep pushing us, keep moving us forward, you know what I'm saying, definitely hit me up on social media, let me know. Again, Marissa Y17 on Instagram, Marissa the Thinker on Facebook and YouTube, Thinker versus Speaker on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Hit us up, let us know what's on your mind, what you're thinking, and all those things like that. But with that being said, I'm not gonna waste no more of y'all time. We're gonna hop straight into the episode. Again, thank you to everybody who has ever been on the show. Thank you to all of y'all for listening. You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna keep leveling up. Alright? We just gonna keep leveling up. Super excited. So on that note, hope y'all enjoy y'all Easter, y'all Good Friday, all the things. We gonna see y'all next week with the newness. Alright, later y'all. And like another big reason of why I would make excuses to not do therapy was because I thought it was hard to find a therapist. It was just like, where the fuck do you even begin to find a therapist? Like,
people make it seem like it's hard. You
but
really
it
have to
ain't.
do your research, because my first couple experiences, like, I wasn't feeling my therapist, but it's also the fact that I was resistant to therapy as well. So that could play a role.
Yeah, being receptive to therapy is everything. Like, it ain't even no point in going
if you don't believe in it, if you don't think that there's going to be a benefit to it, you're going to just struggle with anybody you get, because you already don't believe in the methods that they're going to use.
Exactly, because they probably will have you doing some shit that you ain't really wanted to do before. Reflecting on things you don't really want to reflect on.
Accountability, niggas hate that.
Woo! Okay,
accountable.
Okay, because you hit the nail on the head, like, definitely, because one of the first methods that my therapist used with me is journaling. So she was having a hard time getting me to like draw out experiences, because like, you know how you kind of compartmentalize shit.
Yeah,
like back in the day, it's just like, you know, we don't think about feelings. So like, you asking me like what made me feel this feeling in the past, and I done put that shit in a box, locked it, and put, you know what I'm saying, put it in a closet, buried it 3 feet underground, and like forgot about it. Like, I don't want to go back there. Like, I put that shit where I put it, and I plan on leaving it there, and you trying to get it out. So like, she had me start journaling or whatever, because we wasn't really getting nowhere in therapy. I was trying, but we wasn't getting nowhere. So she had me start journaling. And like, at first I thought it was just like, man, I ain't got no time for this shit. Like, I got all this shit going on. I ain't got no fucking time to fucking be journaling and shit. But you know, she gonna hold you accountable, because the next set she done asked you to write this prompt and to bring back an example. So like, I gotta have something on this fucking paper. So it's like 15 minutes. It's on my 15-minute break while I'm at work, and I got therapy right after work that day. So I'm on my 15-minute break. I write like a quick little journal or whatever. I go back to there. I actually got some significant shit off of my chest in that meantime. Like, went back to therapy. We talked about it. She told me to do it like 2 more times, and before I know it, I got like a habit of fucking journaling.
You journal every motherfucking day. Sometimes go 2 times a day. So shout out to your therapist.
Yo, she straight turned me into a writer.
She brought it out. It was already there. She brought it out.
My therapist made a superstar. Like
It was already there. Therapists help you bring out what's already there. I'm convinced. It's like all the stuff that we have that we need is already within us. But sometimes you need significant people in your life to really show you what it is. And I think therapists have like a cool role and significant roles in people's life when they can bring out those qualities in you, especially good ones.
Yo, okay. So like, what's a good therapist and a bad therapist? Because I've only had one good therapist. What's a bad therapist?
I'm gonna just start off with this. I'm gonna say a bad therapist is a therapist who does not have their own therapist. Everybody needs therapy, including the therapist. So if they're like not having their own therapist and having their own like check-in, that's a red flag for me. I wouldn't even know. I don't know what a bad therapist is. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I can say what a bad therapist is. I can't really give no concrete examples, but that's definitely one of them. Another one would be just somebody who's not willing to learn and grow in a profession, who's not just willing to educate themselves on different cultures, different methodologies, and different ways of doing things. I would say that's not a good therapist, because you want somebody who's also learning to evolve, and grow, and also eliminate any biases that they may have, because you want them to be human like you. Obviously, they have a specific job, but you also want to know they're growing, learning, expanding their education, and continue to stay up on what's happening. A good therapist would be that person who has a therapist who's growing, learning, who's present, who's in tune with their clients, who's able to like recognize what's working and what's not working, being able to effectively communicate. I think those are good therapists. But I'm sure there's more qualities. What do you think a good therapist is? You've had one. What it sound like?
Yeah. I was just thinking too, like a good quality like that I would look for in a therapist is like a certain level of open-mindedness. Mm-hmm. Because I know a lot of people worry about, when you go in and you telling somebody who, seems to be a stranger, like you telling them like all your problems and shit, like you wondering if they gonna judge you, and actually
they are. That's our job, to judge you. Like, we're gonna judge you, but we're gonna also help you. It's like we have to take what you're saying and obviously look at how we're going to help you and what methodology and what like way what's going to work best for you. But it's like it's a sense of judgment, but it's good judgment. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person because you did that, this, that, and third. That would be a bad therapist, because they'll be bringing their own biases and their own opinions into your sessions, into that space. And it's like, that's not what they're supposed to. They're supposed to be open, judgment free, and allow you to be vulnerable, because that's the whole basis of going to therapy, to like open up, to be vulnerable, to be able to share your story and move beyond your traumas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like in mine, like I actually never felt judged. You know what I'm saying? Like she definitely like hold me accountable, but I think more so than anything, like the thing that I liked about my therapist was she gave me something that I wasn't initially used to, which was somebody acknowledging my feelings.
Oh, yes. All of that. That's why I love my last therapist, because she just made me feel like I'm not crazy. Like,
yeah,
I felt validated, even though like I may have had people in my life who made me feel that way. But going to therapy, it just felt like good to say what I had to say and like not feel like I was alone. But it also helped me to like reach out to people who I am close to and be able to also do that with them and not just my therapist.
Absolutely, exactly. So she kind of like that, giving me that validation, like is one of the things that like helped teach me that I don't even need the validation.
Yeah.
But like she would do that, like she would validate my feelings, and then she would also follow that up with an alternative perspective of how to view the situation. And I think that gave me a more dynamic perception of the world. It's one of the things that helped me like mature my thought process. Okay. Because it's just like, like, yes, your feelings in that particular moment are valid. You have every right to feel how you feel. But also, have you taken these other things into consideration? And a lot of the times they would be things that I never took into consideration before, which doesn't change how you feel, because how you feel matters. But is it possible to feel how you feel and other things be true as well? Yeah. And it's so real what you're saying about the gap. I remember I was even having a conversation with my therapist about it when I was getting over that hurdle personally. And she's just like, in the environments that we kind of come from, being smart in a way can sort of be a disadvantage to a certain point in your life, because like when you think about it, it's just like you're used, these things are easy, things come easy, so you're not used to being challenged and pushed out your comfort zone, forced to ask questions and things like that.
Yep.
So then when you come into a scenario where things are a little more difficult and you have to struggle a little bit more, now you don't really know what to do. Now it's different. Now you on a whole nother level and you gotta like, you know, overcompensate, or you kind of get faced with the like, oh shit, with the identity crisis of like,
Yep.
okay, what is it that I'm gonna do?
Yep.
So like, how do you think that we fill the gaps in something like that? It's something that I think about a lot, where it's just like, I feel like to a certain extent, like kids are kind of like at a disadvantage when they put in situations like that, because like even us, like you already said it earlier in the podcast, it's just like they isolate. It's like, okay, y'all are the smart ones, so we gonna put all of y'all together, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Or if you don't get pulled out, it's like you the smart kid in class and you just sitting there with nothing to do, because the disparities inside one classroom are so major. It's just like the teachers be like, oh, y'all good, y'all got this, like y'all got it, I gotta go focus on these ones with like C's and D's and like, you know, F's, like I gotta put my energy and attention over here. And then you got somebody starting to fight in the back and whatever, and we just sitting here like, so what chapter we supposed to read? Like, why we reading out loud? Like
Right.
how do you feel about stuff like that?
I feel like honestly a lot of that it takes the work. Whether that's with programs with the school, programs, professional development programs, maybe parents being a little bit more adamant. Um,
Whew.
it takes the work, and it's not gonna happen overnight. Um, but yeah, I feel like there has to be infrastructure for that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why it's not something that's explored too much is there's not a lot of the infrastructure isn't really um a lot of things that create infrastructure or foundations of a project always come from some type of research, some type of somebody having an idea about something working out,
Right.
or something that's funded, whatever the case may be. But either way it goes, um it has to be something that proves to be value driven in order for it to be one accepted on the back end by students, teachers, parents alike, and then two maintained.
Yeah.
So um I truly feel like we just got to build the infrastructure for it. More professional development programs or more robust college readiness programs.
Yeah.
Either one. I feel like it's the difference between the education always, no matter what school you're going to go to. And that's not going to change until we probably change a lot of our tax reform and education system. But until we do that, until we do that, yeah, as a community, we can invest outside and into ourselves
Yeah,
by
that's true.
creating more professional development programs, and college readiness or college prep. That's what
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like even when we were in college prep things when we were in, you know, like high school, middle school, stuff like that. Like they had them available, but even to a certain extent, it was only like a small glimpse into how hard it would be. Did you have to go to that 3-week program before we started college?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh girl.
Yeah.
Oh girl. Oh girl. It's called Hit the Ground Running, but in
Yeah.
reality it should be called Hit the Wall. Because but it was a great program, you know, because it was designed for us. Like we had to do it because we were in the diversity program. We had the diversity scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like they already knew. It's just like where y'all coming from, it's a high probability that y'all are coming from a disadvantage. So we want to introduce you to what it's going to be like before you come up in here thinking that your old ways of operating are
Right.
gonna work. Cause they not. Like, cause they not. 9 times out of 10. And I remember like most of us on that like second week of just having like D's, and we ain't had D's in our life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like,
Yeah.
yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Math class done been pushed back and shit. Like, hold on, wait. Like,
Ain't starting where you thought you was gonna start.
at
Now you
all.
contemplating how long you really gonna be in college.
Right, I went from a 4-year plan to a 5-year plan real quick. Like,
Yep.
real quick. And it's just like, but they was really onto something, because it was just like, you think that college is gonna be one thing. You know what I'm saying? When you come out of high school, at least
Right.
from where I came from, or the types of schools that I came from, like, I ain't have to work that hard. And I took college prep classes too. And you know what I'm saying? Like, the only college prep teacher that gave me a hard time was English, and I think she was a hater. But like, you know what I'm saying? But otherwise, it was just like, oh, fill out this packet. Like, fill out this packet, or you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't get this calculus anyway, so like, let's just call it even, and y'all gonna have to start over when y'all go to college anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's like that, and it's just like, once you actually go to college, and it's just like, oh, like, I don't even know how to study. Like, I don't know how to study. I don't know what time management is. I used to be able to do my homework in an hour.
Yep.
Like, and you want me to be able to read this chapter, fully interpret it by tomorrow, and then be able to ask you questions about it? Like, you not telling me what this is?
Exactly.
Like, oh, I'm already supposed to know what's going on before I get here? Huh? Like, what? I don't understand these concepts. Like, I don't get it. Somebody, what? Help me.
Yeah, and that's why I said, at least with the programs that we already have in place, we could make them more robust. Like, maybe get more motivated people in places, tailoring the programs, partnering with industry, or having sponsorships. Like, hey, if you're in this program, you can take a tour with like Anheuser-Busch and see how their facilitations work. Their facilities work. So it's like, just more robustness in the programs.
Yeah, more effort. Yeah,
But more of the college prep and readiness.
definitely. Definitely, because it makes a difference at the end of the day. Like, these things matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not good to have that identity crisis, and I think, and like, some people fall off that don't necessarily have to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, we can struggle through it, but it's just like being able to know, because like sometimes like the resources are even there, you just don't know that they there either, because we not even used to having like resources to utilize. At least I wasn't. It's just like, oh, the resources was there, but I don't even know where to begin to look for them, ask for them, or how to use them.
Right.
Yeah. And it's crazy too. It makes me curious, like, what was that like? Because when you were going through these things, like, we are still pretty young, but like, you were young. So what's it like to be in that position? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, diabetes is definitely something that, they say it all the time, it's incurable. You know what I'm saying? And to be going blind, like, what is that even like? Like, what is going through your head? And then, like, how the hell do you even come up out of that? Like, because I know that's the type of stuff that'll, like, break people down, like, for real, and have them, like, not want to go for it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was scary at first, but then I stopped giving a fuck because I knew it wasn't for me. Like, I know my life. I know the type of person I am. I know the intentions I put in the earth, and I know everything I want to experience. I just don't see me going out right now. I don't see me like even as I was going blind, I always tell myself, how many things look bad ended up I'm laughing at it. Like, man, I straight was tripping over that. Like, it always happened. So I'm like, I'm gonna go blind and I'm gonna have this neuropathy. I'm gonna be fucked up for a minute, but I bet I figure out some shit that's gonna dig me out this hole. I always do. I always will. That's why when shit happen to me, I'm not never mad at the person. I'm not mad at the situation. I'm finna go find me something to smile at. Like, I'm cool. Like, Ain't no
Right.
sense of wasting my time. That's my time. Time being mad about something that ain't. Nah, I'm straight. That's why a person can go marry me one day and divorce me the next. It'd be like, that's on them. That's on their body. I'm cool. It's life working for me some type of way. Who knows? That motherfucker might be doing some shit, and somebody might ambush them and blow their ass up, and I just ain't supposed
Right.
to be around them. Like, I'm cool.
God knows stuff that happens where that's why I tell myself all the time. God knows stuff that happen when you ain't there. They know people intentions, they know everything. So if something gotta go, then he know why. I don't have to know.
I'm telling you, because like prime example, it was a certain situation. I had some people. They was like, "You want to do something?" At first, I was like, "Yeah." Then I thought about it. I was like, "Nah." So boom, they did it. They got away with it. I said, "Fuck, I should have did it." And then they got caught. I said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I should have done
oh."
that. Yeah, I should have done that. Yeah.
But what's crazy? They still locked down for it, right?
Uh-huh.
And I usually I usually just say, yeah, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. But this particular time, it was something in me, and it came from a movie, and it was like, nah, I ain't with that, and I wasn't with it, and they got away, and then I was a little salty because it was some life changing type shit, and then it definitely would have been life changing for me right now, like
Yeah.
they got caught, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how things work like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like when you can think back to times like that, it's just like I really must be chosen because I be getting out of some situations unscathed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I might have got a little I might have got a little whooping from God, but you know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like what it could have been.
It ain't nothing. Like, I look at it like this: the universe is like our parents,
Mm-hmm.
and like you gotta obey it in the same manner as you want your kids to obey you. It know what's right and what's wrong. So I just step back. Even the shit that I don't want to do, I be like, it's a reason that I'm not supposed to be doing this, and I need to just listen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like I was looking at something, and the dude had his son in a ice cream place, and the son had a scoop of ice cream, and he bought him a scoop of ice cream, my bad, and the kid dropped it. He get to crying, oh man, daddy, I dropped the ice cream. They're like, that's cool, that's fine, we're gonna get you another one, and then as he get him another one, he seen another one with 2 scoops. He like, no, daddy, let me get the one with 2 scoops, and he didn't get him one with 2 scoops, and the kid ain't understand. He was like, you got to show me you can handle the one with 1 scoop before I get you the one with 2 scoops. And I started understanding the universe right then. I said, man, look, that's crazy, because sometimes I ask for more than I'm supposed to have, but the universe will be looking out for me like, nah, you see, you're the chosen, bro. So I ain't gonna give it to you. I give it to somebody else and let you watch the outcome of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can probably see for your own self. Cause if I give it to you, you done for. And I understand that. Sometimes it's better to not get everything you want when you want it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had some sleepless nights. I've been having sleepless nights because I've been praying. I've been praying about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, and I mean this politics and everything. The devil is a deceiver.
Whew.
See, that's the whole thing, because the devil is a deceiver, and he'll put stuff in your mind
That ain't there.
that ain't there, and
Or ain't real.
yeah, and you know, you stay up countless nights, and you think something is the way it is, and it ain't like that.
Mm-mm.
And so, and even sometimes you look at TV or turn on the news and you hear politics, and what they saying, you know it's not true,
Yeah.
but they just deceiving people.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of trickery and deceiving around here, you know. But
I thought about something the other day too, because I ain't been keeping up with politics. I did a lot when Trump was, doing his thing, but I kind of pulled back from politics a little bit because
right,
it's so much all the time,
yeah,
and I kind of tapped in a little bit with this election because I wasn't gonna vote. I decided to vote because I ain't one of them people where it's just like, I'm not gonna complain about society if I'm not voting. Like I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I might not have the most faith in the people in office,
Right.
at the same time, you kind of gotta use the system and at least try. You can't say that it don't work unless you try.
You're right.
So I kind of tapped in a little bit and I kept seeing all this like the red wave didn't happen. The red wave, the red wave, the red wave. And it's just like I thought about it because I ain't been keeping up with politics and I thought about it. And I was just like, what if they just hyped up this red wave to get Democrats to vote?
That's exactly what they get you for.
You just scaring people into voting.
To get you, well, but it's the opposite. That's to get you so you don't vote. They
Yeah.
want you to get. They want you to give up. You know, they don't want you to go vote. You know, because the law been passed. They trying to get back to the old days. You know, we and then I ain't gonna really say nothing about too much about politics because you know sometimes you'll hurt people's feelings because they, you know what I'm saying, because you
People
don't
get
know-
too sensitive about these politics. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, and I respect that. But see, people like Ain't I the Maid, my mother, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they women in general, they didn't get an opportunity to vote.
Mm-mm.
And so yeah, we have to, you know, like if the line long. Like if somebody asks me what time to go, I say I'm going when I think the line the longest. Because I love it. I want to be out there because I know what people went through to vote.
Yeah.
And so I want to be out there. Like you say, you can't say nothing. And believe it or not, some of them coming down to 30, 40 votes.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, 'cause they're getting close these days. They're getting very close.
they getting very close. We very split.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's a lot of you just gotta be Satan busy, you know. So I mean you gotta be you gotta pray about things. You gotta know Lord for yourself.
Yeah, you do.
You know,
Especially
not
in this world.
Yeah, not just listen to people. You gotta read up and you gotta be wise. And if you're not wise, ask the wise
Mm-hmm.
because you got a lot of wise people around you. Not the foolish ones, but the wise ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, that's a very good thing that you just said too, because it's just like I'll even get on my Facebook these days. This is why I don't get on social media a lot actually, because I'll get on my Facebook and I'll see people and it's just like they'll be saying things and it's just like this sounds so, you know, misguided. It's like this logic is so kind of like backwards, but it's just like because I don't agree with you, like that ain't got nothing to do with me, and two, it's just like very much a tell of just like what's going on in society now. It's just like everybody is just listening, you know, to other people for the way that they should go about life instead of looking inward and figuring out what life is supposed to look like for you.
Yeah, and most of the time the answers right there. All they had to do was ask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you have a rebellion spirit, you know that you just, you know, you know, I don't really, but they rebel, you know, and they just don't want to listen to correct things, you know. But I just pray that people just, you know, they pray that you can get a good spirit that you can figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just pray about that, you know.
Yeah.
To keep things like that, I just kind of hold some things to myself and I just pray about it.
Yeah. The only thing that I you know, I try to stay out of it, and even when it comes to certain things, I very much have an attitude of just like, you know what, people are different. And who am I to judge somebody else? Because everybody is going through their own life. You know, everybody is going through their own process. The same way how I had to figure things out in my life, yeah, other people got to figure things out over there. And it's not my place to get all wrapped up in there and try to be telling somebody how to figure out life. They got to figure that out, because just the way I didn't want to listen to nobody, when I didn't want to listen, God had to humble me. He had to show he had to show me. And sometimes that's kind of just what it takes, and you got to let people go through what it is that they're going to go through. But
But God,
yeah.
here's the thing. You never know what kind of day those people have. You never know what they gotta go, what they're going through.
Right.
This is only thing you can do is pray for them and love them, man.
You can help more people with compassion and judgment.
Yeah, love them. That's the best thing.
That's how you help somebody.
Yeah, you show right. When you helping a lot of people, with your show and everything, you helping a lot of people. Yeah.
I appreciate. I just want to get people to think. That's it. I just want to get people to think, and I want to get people to think and really start questioning things, because it's a lot of people that's just misguided.
Yes.
And it's just like, we got to start thinking for ourselves. We got to stop looking at everybody else to figure out our lives first, because everybody is going through a different situation, and you can't base your solution based off somebody else.
Yeah.
Come on, like, just think. You just think. And it's just like, I ain't even gonna tell people to turn to God, because guess what? When you go inside, sometimes that's exactly what you find.
Right. You right.
Yeah, I'm dead. He ain't lying. That's funny as hell. He ain't like, he was just like, I ain't even gonna act like I remember. But yeah, I appreciate it though. Like,
no, yeah. And I'm like, I can't imagine him remembering like this one person that he met, because it was so many people at his meet and greet, and it's like this nigga on tour all the time meeting all these different people, so he not just gonna remember this this one person.
Yeah, but at the same time, like in that moment, like, you picked up a major gem, like, you know what I'm saying? It was a confidence boost. Like, it's crazy how those like milestones like happen. Like they seem, it's like, it's such a hurdle, you know what I'm saying, when you going through the process of like doing it. But like, once you actually do it and get it done, it kind of like opens a door, because it's just like, oh, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. Like, even that little piece of advice where it's just like, don't let nobody stop you. That's some shit that you can take with you for the rest of your life. Like, any time that you got a moment like that, it comes up, it always goes back to that. And like, that's the beauty of the process. Like, for real, because like, when you have those things, like when you not going through the process, or when you're afraid to like really embrace the process, like, because we all get scared, right? We all get scared, we all get nervous, but like, when you get nervous and you actually able to like push through, and you realize that thing wasn't as hard or as scary as you thought it was gonna be, like the things that you thought mattered at one point in time don't actually matter as much, like, and you can do this not once but twice, and you can keep doing it over and over and over again. That's how you build your confidence. That's how you get where it is that you gonna go. But if you get to those moments you get scared and you back off, see, that's how you don't get nowhere.
Exactly. And I swear, I kid you not, like anytime I have something like big or I'm about to meet somebody, I be like, let me play my gospel real quick. Let me put my favorite Herb song on. Like, I always cut Statement on, because it's like this one line in the song that he say that I be like, yeah, he's speaking to me in my life. And I had that little thought in my head, and I be like, it's go time. It's lit. It's up.
I ain't even gonna lie, like, cause like even for me, right? Like, I got my process too. Like, for some, I was nervous before we started this one. I wasn't even gonna say that, but I was like a little nervous before we even started this episode, because I was like, man, it's been like a while since I talked to Danny. Like, I'm still
Girl, bye.
But I'm like, but I get that way. Like I swear to God, like I just get that way because that's just how my mind works. So it's just like I get nervous because it's like I want to represent myself well, and I want to do good. You know what I'm saying? I want to do good and everything like that. But like, and I'm still not used to it because like when I first started thinking versus speaker, I had somebody that was doing it with me. I had a co-host, and it would be me and him every week, and we would bring guests on sometimes. But like now, I do a different person every time, and like I didn't used to be a very social person. Like I used to be very much off to myself. So every time I do a new episode with a different person, it's just like nerves. And it's like it be nerves. And I literally just have to like sit and like woosah for a second and like calm myself down just to be able to be like, man, you built for this. You got this. Like
No, I agree with you 100% because that even like happened to me because it's like, okay, I didn't see like so many people and I didn't interview like a few like cooler people, but I still would like get nervous and I'd be like, all right, Danielle, get out of your head because you're your own worst enemy and get to it. Like, don't overthink it.
Yeah. And I do, and it's so crazy the way that the mind works, right? Because it's just like even with me like starting my business that I'm starting, it's just like you ask yourself that question like, damn, like do I really have what it takes to be like an entrepreneur? Like this shit seems hard. Like am I built for this? And then it's just like I think back in time and like when I'm asking myself that, it kind of like clicks and it's just like, and you was 22 running a business. Like you've been running shit since you were 15. Like God been trying to tell you that that's what you do, because like, you know what I'm saying, like even when I was working with y'all, like my plan was not to be a manager. It never was. It's just it just happened. And it's just because it was just like people be like, well, you seem like you know what to do. It's just like, well, yeah, it's just, you know, it's just like when you realize what you built for and it'd be like, man, am I built for this? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then it's like when you reflect on it, it's like those pivotal moments in your life. Like, okay, 15, I was doing this, 22 doing that. It's like, okay, that built you up for you running your own business, having your own podcast now, giving you those, like, you know, those skills for sure.
Yeah. It's just like, you know what I'm saying, you acting like you can't, you know what I'm saying, it's just like you ran a business for a company. You knew how to run numbers for them. You know what I'm saying? You knew how to run numbers for them. You knew how to hire for them. You knew how to train for them. It's just like, nigga, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? Like, do you
exactly.
Hear like you gonna do it for somebody else. You gonna make somebody else millions of dollars because we was running $1 million store. So like you gonna make somebody else millions of dollars,
but not yourself.
But not yourself. You scared to do it for your damn self. Make it make sense.
Exactly.
But your brain will have you thinking like, can I? Yes, absolutely.
You mind over matter. You can do anything you put your mind to. Okay.
Right. And like as you're saying that, it makes me wonder, right? Because when you think about the teenagers, those formative years, like it almost makes me wonder, is that about the time where those like mommy and daddy issues start to like surface? You know what I'm saying? Is that where those things like really start to surface? That's when you really start feeling those insecurities and those like seeking outside validation, and you looking like towards the world for like, who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? Right? Because you know, as teenagers, we've all felt it. Yeah. That pressure to want to grow up fast and want to be like, you know, like, all right, what is everybody else going on? Like, do I fit the mold? Like, where do I go? Like, where is my place in the world? Like, what is it that I do? And like trying to figure all of that out. And like sometimes if you don't have the right people around you or the right resources, like you start seeking outside validation from all of the things, and you don't, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we find them in the right places, sometimes we find them in the wrong places. You know what I'm saying? We start to rebel a little bit. You don't want to talk to your mom and your dad, like say if you got like mommy issues and stuff, because like we know the plight of a teenage girl.
Like we do. We're up in like moody, up and down, all over the place. I was a moody, like crabby ass fucking teenager, and it's because like y'all don't fucking get me. y'all understand what I'm going through? None
Yep.
of this makes sense. My body's changing. I don't really know a lot about sex. I'm like, my friends are talking about it a lot, but it's like
Right. I don't know shit.
my experience
Yeah.
with it also wasn't pleasant. So it's like, I don't really want to know about it. I don't want to talk about that. It's like all these different like things like that's just, is a lot going on in the brain. Like, it's like, am I pretty enough? Like, do I have to do this to fit in? Do I have to like change myself? Like, do I have to have sex? Do I have to fold into like peer pressure and like actually do what they're doing because I want to keep the friendship going? Like, even like all the things is going through a teenage girl's mind, like all the time. And I feel like with social media and all these different like, again, external factors, it's just like making it so more questionable about like who, like questioning who they are, like who am I, like
Right.
like, yeah,
Right. Because high school is very much a place like it's a double-edged sword. Some people can do it, but not everybody can do it. Because I'm not gonna be like, no, like some people ain't like gonna be true. No, that's not true. Like there are some people that are very true to themselves in high school. They know exactly who they are, what they will and they won't do. But like some people don't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like some people just don't, and then they kind of like fall into the like, all right, like what is it that I gotta do to fit in? Like what is it that I gotta do? Like everybody else around me is having sex, so I guess I gotta do it now too. Like people keep putting pressure on me to do things that I don't want to do, but I don't know how to say no because I'm a people pleaser. But I don't know what a people pleaser is. I don't know what any of these things are. I also don't know who to ask because it's embarrassing to ask these questions because like what will people think if I ask these questions?
exactly.
And it's nice to have somebody that's just like, yo, been there, get it, like been there, get it, let's talk about it. Like,
yeah, exactly, that's exactly my point. And it's like, even with like those who are sure of themselves, it's like, I love that because now you can teach other girls how to be sure of themselves. So it's like, okay, we all have areas where we're struggling and we're insecure about, and it's just like, if you're not insecure in that area and like you have a way of building confidence, I want you to show another person how to do that. Like, if part of this program is also peer mentorship, because I'm like, sisterhood, bonding, like that's something that's really, I think that we all need. Not even just these teenage girls, like we all need that sense of like community, that sense of belonging, that sense of like feeling like you got somebody. Like a lot of like where I look at my life and I'm just like, you know what? I remember that was a good time in my life because I had a mentor. They was coaching me. They was helping me. They was like giving me that advice that, you know, they was building me up. They was showing me different things that I didn't know about myself, pulling out, you know, maybe some of my insecurities, but still pushing me on, like still being able to support me. And like, I think that's a method that works. I think it's a method that works, is like being able to support people and like pull them up and like learn and grow from each other. I'm just like, that's a method that definitely works.
It's true, and you know what? There's validity in that as well, because what I'm learning is, you know, I have patterns in my life. Like I'm getting to a point where I'm able to recognize patterns in my life, and you know, I'm changing from a person that when things don't go what feels like it should be the right way, it's just like, all right, I'm done with it. And I've done that for so long, and that's what, and I think that's kind of like what you're saying too, because like the seed has been in me even still, because even when I say I started working on the podcast in April 2021, Thinker versus Speaker was a product in my mind since like April 2020. You know, so it's been in my head for that long, but I just I would go through things and I would get distracted, and I would, you know what I'm saying? Like I just run from it. I'd run from it, and every time it's just like God will slap me back down, and He'd take me right back to that little idea. He takes me right back to that place, and now I'm at an interesting crossroads, because it's just like I've done this work, and not only like this podcast has been more than just a podcast. Like it's been my life transforming in the midst of going through this process of trying to learn how to do this, to incorporating this into my life. So now it's at a point where it's just like there's purpose in it, you know, and realizing it's just like, okay, I like to help people. I've always liked to help people. I like to talk. I like to think about things, and apparently the things that I've just sat by myself and thought about and kept to myself for so long are things that people can actually resonate with, are things that people actually want to hear. Not everybody, because I'm not for everybody. I'm not for the majority, to be honest with you, but I'm for somebody. And that's what, you know, the part that I'm learning to understand. And even going from there, the times where it's just like I want to quit, it's like as soon as I'm just like, God, I want to quit. And I've done this more times than just in a podcast, because healing in itself is a process. Unlearning all of the things that I've had to unlearn has been a process. There have been so many more times in my life besides just when I started this podcast where I said, God, I ain't got it. I want to quit. I don't want to be the bigger person. I'm tired of being the bigger person. I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of always having to figure everything out. God, I'm tired. There are so many times that I've just cried out to God and just been like, I'm tired. I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, why does everybody else get to live however the fuck they want to, but I gotta follow your rules in this world? You know what I'm saying? I gotta follow your rules in this world because I already know what's gonna happen if I don't. And I'm tired.
But you have to. It's another thing you have to realize too. You know, and a lot of people don't think about this. But you know what? You know, nobody on this earth is perfect.
No.
Not a soul on this earth is perfect. We're imperfect. We're born imperfect. Because we're imperfect, what means that we make mistakes in our life. That means that we do things that are maybe not be pleasing to God at the time and stuff. Because that's for us to make.
Yeah.
That's for us to make. And when you make those mistakes, then like I said, only person that's going to correct it is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So the only person going to take it, but there's going to be many that's going to come in and try to correct you. But it takes you to correct yourself. And once you correct yourself, then you see changes coming about in your life. There are going to be many times in your life that your friends are going to come along and tell you, come on, girl, come on back. Let's do this here. Let's do this. You know this party coming up. You know, you got this here going on. But when they find out that you've got something else going on and stuff, then they're gonna start not liking you for your change. They're not gonna like it. But that's all a part of the growth that you got and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to walk away from a lot of things in your life. It's gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Walk away from a lot of things in life. But and then some things you walk away from, you can come back to them later, but you know what I'm saying? You come back to it with a different fashion.
Oh yeah.
You know, different spirit and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? I mean, right now, this is your preparation season. I mean, you're in a strong preparation right now, and you're developing, you know what I'm saying? You're in development right now as we speak and stuff, and there's great change happening. So you just can't let that go, you know. And when I tell you that there, I'm talking to myself also, because, you know, I told you I had this program that I was making that I'm dealing with and stuff. And it's been getting so frustrating to me because I can't get the background help that I need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's been getting real frustrating to me, and I'm kind of like you are. And I'm kind of like you. I'm like, you know what? Nobody don't want to give me no help. You know what I'm saying? You know, just bump this here. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of just going out there. I'm struggling. I'm straining, trying to get this done, and I can't get it done. You know, and some of them that was helping me, you know, they don't went on voice out, so, you know, they want to see me shut down, so why should I just keep on doing it?
Right.
You know, and it feel like one day I said that there, God popped me on the side of my head.
That's how it be.
You said, you better wake up, man. He said, look here. He said, God said, you know what? When I gave this to you. God said, God showed me this. He said, oh, I showed you this here. And I wouldn't have showed you nothing that you can handle on your own.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't show you this podcast that you decided to do. He didn't show it to you that you cannot handle it on your own. You know what I'm saying? You can get some help along the way, but what it is those that are trying to see you drop everything, they're waiting by the wayside so they can smile and laugh and have a good time. But you can't. I used to say you can't let Satan win, but you can't
God
let
ain't gonna
niggas
let him.
you can't let niggas in. You just can't have. You know what? You can't have no niggas F truth trying to mess up your what you got going on stuff. And that's all it is. They sitting back. Hey, how she doing this week? What's going on with her this week? You know what she gonna do this week? Man, look, you got to keep moving. My leaders always told me, say, keep moving regardless. And that's how I'm doing my program and stuff, because somebody gonna need me. Somebody needs a testimony from me. I need to sit back and listen to somebody that's going through something. I need to share with them. I need to give them information about how they can help themselves and stuff like that. It's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because I was once out there doing those things and stuff. So I noticed people out here that sit in the background saying, I wish I could have somebody to talk to. But I know,
Yeah.
but I'm out there smoking crack and I'm smoking meth and stuff, and I'm doing this here, and I can't let nobody know that I'm doing this, so I gotta smile in their face, and I gotta go home, and I gotta do this here. But no, so it's gotta be somebody left that can sit back and listen, because somebody got tears to shed, and once they talk to you, they realize that when they talk their way through a situation. They say, "Oh,
Right.
you know what? I can't live like this here. I want to make some changes." You know, they got somebody. But we have to be able to open ourselves to people in a certain way, that we're able to listen, that we're able to care, that we're able to share our love, that we're able to inform, you're able to get information to them that can help them. We need this here. Your podcast is doing the very thing that my program is doing. You're getting stuff out there to the people in a way, because conversation, and then you have the right thing that's coming up on there. You get stuff out to people and have them think like, wow, you know what? I didn't think about that like that. You know, that makes a lot of sense. And then they're able to respond. You know, and then there's some going to even do it more than respond because of the nature of it. Some say, well, I want to support your podcast, and I want to send this your way. Let me cash app you this year because I want to send something your way and stuff, because I want you to keep doing what you're doing and stuff. That season is upon you because of the people that you're interacting with, and the importance on what you're trying to get out. So, you know, saying your season is up on you right now.
Yeah.
So while you waiting for it to really manifest itself, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop preparing. When you get a thought, if you want to talk about anything, any subject that you can find someone that can give you some information, don't stop. Just use it and stuff, and listen and stuff, and then share it with the people. And you're doing a great job. You know, I commend you, because I get on there and I be checking stuff out, and I say, man, you know, and I keep on trying to tell my wife, hey, you should listen to some of this shit. But you know, and that's, you know, God, you know, he's the kind of person that he don't despise a small beginning. It's small, but like I said again, you're in your development stage. You know, when you develop it, that means something's growing. It's growing. People, you know what? And people are listening to your podcast and they ain't responding. They ain't letting you see them on it or none of that stuff there. But it's growing. It's growing, and by the time you really research it and look, you're gonna say, "Wow, I didn't know I had that many followers."
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen. It's happening right now. So don't you dare shut down. Don't you give up. Don't you get depressed. Don't you get nothing but motivated.
Like, one thing that caught my attention for real, and like it may be corny, but it's deep. Your title of your podcast, thinker versus a speaker.
Oh,
That
word?
shit, yeah, it's deep. You gotta take it as the mindset. Like, this is why I'm finna make you go deeper into the situation, because you're the thinker, we're the speakers. So
Yeah.
with that being said, you're opening you as the thinker, you asking us questions that your mind is opened up to hear it from other people's point of view. So with that being said, us as the speakers, you getting it from real people experience point of view, which is deeper than people really understanding the meaning of the
Right.
thinker. It's opening your mind. It's on a deeper level. But a lot of people not ready for that. You
You get it.
understand what I'm
You
saying?
get it.
But
You get
it took me a while. It took me a
it.
while. Like, man, I'm like, because when I read
That
your
shit's
podcast
deep.
the
That
first
shit's
time,
under there though. Like
when I read it the first time, I'm like, do anybody honestly understand the title of her podcast? It's deeper than what it really is. But you have to understand who the person behind the mic is. So if she's the thinker, it's gonna get deeper because she wanna know everybody's perspective, and she gonna bring, like you said, you gonna bring people or professionals that you know that's in that field on a higher level to open up your mind,
right.
which sometimes could be a dangerous situation. But yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
motherfuckers not this, but like you saying, you ain't here for the money, whatever the situation may be. That's same for real. One thing that I want to do for real, and that's just not me being no asshole right now. I ain't shutting down our race, none of this shit. But we stupid as fuck, y'all, and y'all smart as fuck. Y'all need to get y'all mind on the head frame to be correct, because at the end of the day, I ain't disrespecting the white folks or none of this shit, but we could take over this universe for real.
Oh, you just want to get straight up into it, huh?
I'm just
See,
oh,
see. I ain't gonna see what I ain't gonna say. We dumb, but we sleep as fuck. But that's by design. And that's the part that we don't fucking understand. See, you making me go somewhere that I don't really like to go on a podcast, bro. Because, but it is what it is. It is what it is because it's the truth.
Though?
That's the truth. No, it is.
But it ain't you the thinker and we're
Absolutely.
the speaker.
Absolutely.
So we have to bring these things to you.
Yeah, exactly. Cause like that's the thing, right? And I always talk about it. I said this in the last episode with my uncle, where it's just like it pisses me off when I see shit like on the internet where it's just like, oh, look at who Lori Harvey's dating now, and they can make a whole like niggas will run with this shit for like a fucking month. You know what I'm saying? It's just like fucking about Young Miami getting peed on by Diddy, like nigga. A lot of niggas do a lot of shit for Diddy. Like, nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, it's so much other shit. Like, you doing this, and like, where are you in your life, though? Like, why are you so distracted? Why are you so distracted? Because the whole time we sitting on here on our phones, the whole time that we sitting here not taking care of our kids, the whole time that we sitting here not thinking about the shit that actually matters in our lives, like, if we wake up, we could change everything.
They ain't ready
everything. Everything.
The
like
world
for
is
real.
In destruction, bro.
Like for real. Like we are like last. Like if you look at all of these different cultures, you know what I'm saying? Man, they got this shit figured out, bro.
Hell yeah. But it's like at the end of the day, we sitting in the cut being stupid, and it's like, what the fuck? Open your eyes, bro. But it ain't even that. You got to think about this, and it's just me being 100%. You got to think about some of these motherfucking states now. This is a subject that don't need to be brought about, because this is where the school systems come in. This is where you get into politics and shit like that. So at the end of the day, I could tell you about the St. Louis school district. I could tell you about the Texas school district.
Bruh,
when the fuck, like at the end of the day, Texas got it made for when you get the fuck out of high school, bro. You got your fucking driver's license, all of that shit.
Oh, so you taking care of.
You feel me?
You taking care of.
You already taking college classes in fucking high school, bro. Any fucking school that's down there, you got to trade.
All we got is fucking Spanish and maybe French in our high schools. They got all types of shit down in here. And I went to go fucking vote. And here's the thing. And that's another thing that pissed me off. I went to vote. Now, I remember being a little kid, and when my parents would vote, I used to go to Danforth, and that fucking voting line would be wrapped all around the fucking neighborhood for people to vote. And that was a black area, right? Black ass area. Now, I don't live in that, and I live in Texas. I went to go vote, bro. I got off work on voting day. I left work at 4:30. I'm thinking it's finna be I'm thinking it's finna be fucking hell. When I say I walked into this high school, and granted, they got a whole football stadium,
I
not a
already
field,
know. The stadium, bruh.
a stadium in a high school. This fucking high school is like a college.
They bands don't have to freaking take school buses. They got charter buses, bruh.
Yes.
They live in luxury.
Yes.
Like, for
Yes. Exactly. And I walked in, I filled out the paper, I voted, I left. It took me 5 fucking minutes. It took me 5 fucking minutes. But then that's the shit that makes you think like, God damn, like, hold on,
How the
wait.
fuck you a military school when you got a shooting range on fucking campus? Like, come on,
Bruh. I'm telling you.
School districts is different, bruh.
We
Like,
lack
for
so
real.
much. We lack so much. And you know what I'm saying? But that's because we not worried about that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? We too busy in fucking survival mode. Trying to figure out how you trying to pay the next bill. You know what I'm saying? You work 2-3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? Because like people in real life going through shit. I ain't saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't knocking it, because I get it. I came from that shit. So like, you know what I'm saying? People real life is struggling just to stay afloat. So I'm sure that the shit that we say is probably like, man, fuck y'all. Y'all don't know how hard it is. Yes, we do.
Man, but let me put it this way, and I'm finna just sit here and be 100 with you right now. It's like this, and I ain't trying to knock the black generation. I ain't trying to knock none of this shit. Y'all head frame ain't on, y'all ain't on boss moves. You understand what I'm saying? And like motherfuckers not understanding where I'm coming from. Like half of these motherfuckers, like materialistic shit. It's not
that does
what
not
you
matter.
need, bro. Like that's why y'all going into debt and shit. Fuck the next shoes that's coming out. Fuck all of that shit. Excuse me. But y'all need to do the shit. Try to put that money aside that you spending all the $500, $1,000 on a fucking pair of pants. Ooh, man, that $1,000 could go on the car. That $1,000 could go for money for you to build, to try to put a house together for you and your kids or whatever the situation.
Because you wasting money on rent every month when you could be owning property.
Facts. Or even if you don't want to fucking buy a house, nigga, just get a fucking tiny house. Or if you want to be smart, bro, make a truck rent and flip that motherfucker. If not, buy a school bus, flip that motherfucker. If you don't want to pay fucking rent, nigga, there are ways to get around it. But you got to know how to invest in it. Like, y'all worried about the wrong shit.
Yeah,
no
we
disrespect.
Worried about everything that's temporary, things that don't last. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to like that mindset, it's just like it be on all of the wrong things. It's just like we could do so much better. And I try not to put it in a way where people feel knocked, right? Because it's just like I have to put myself in people's shoes, right? Because it's not like I ain't always been in this mind frame. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to go through the dark to get to the light. And like the whole purpose of this podcast is just like, we get the dark, but like we can take this dark and turn it into light if we really open our minds up and get to thinking about the shit that it is that we do. You know what I'm saying? The ways that we choose, because at the end of the day, these are choices. Like, yeah, we've been put in certain circumstances. Yeah, we've experienced certain things, but like, we Black. You know what I'm saying? We Black. Now, if you spiritual, I shouldn't even have to explain too much more other than that.
Oh man, we ain't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the part that like the one thing that I love about myself is that I'm so open-minded, because I grew up in like a highly Christian background too. My grandpa was a pastor, so I grew up in church for the most part. And like, you know, of course, like when you hear about things like divination, things like that, like my grandpa would always be like, one, it was certain things that you just could not say. Like he would be like overly like over the top, like don't play with God, don't watch what you say, all of those kinds of things. And like he wouldn't even let us play like regular old-fashioned card games like in the house. Like we could not play Go Fish. We could not, none of that.
My goodness.
Yeah, like he was extreme with it. And like even like one of my cousins, right, like I have like a video on my TikTok where it was like a stray cat that would keep trying to go home with me, and one of my cousins would be like, cats are evil, and I would be like, Okay, like there,
They're
there's
evil.
okay, if you say so, but like
Right.
but it's just like they come from that background where it's just like anything that's not just like straight laced. Like if it doesn't look one type of way, then it must not be of God. Like
Right.
if it doesn't look like X, Y, or Z, then it must not be of God, and therefore it is
Right.
not okay, and therefore, like, you know what I'm saying, like it's a no go. We don't even explore it. We don't talk about it. We don't look at it. We don't touch it. We don't any of that. And
Yeah.
what I'm learning from my own journey is that it's a journey. And like even when I look around at like other people and stuff and they tell me about their journey, like when I see a spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, what I see is a soul that's a blank slate.
Right.
When it comes out into this world, at some point it can become lost.
Right.
And loss looks like a lot of different things. It doesn't look the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? For some people, they might start doing drugs. For some people, they might become disenchanted with religion. And you know what I'm saying? Like, for some people, like, it looks different for everyone, you know? But what ends up happening along the way is that loss somehow gets led back to itself, and it becomes found, and then you go on this journey of finding it all over again, and what's real and what's not, and what's going to work on your life. You take all of that programming out.
Yeah. You're so right. And there was something that you mentioned too about sort of like the way that your father, right, was very, very tight on what you were allowed to do.
Yes.
Your grandfather, sorry.
Yeah.
Very extreme about, you know, the things you were allowed to do. And that honestly kind of alludes me to, like, I think there's some sort of passage within the Bible talking about how one shouldn't assume that they'll get stoned, but they'll get stoned. Like, one shouldn't assume that a stone will turn into gold, right? But instead that you should feed yourself off of the bread of God. And like, I think a lot of Christians sort of harped on the stone part, where it's like, yeah, like that's not good. You don't need to take that. Versus the part about the bread of God, which doesn't just mean like the word of God, right? But it's also just about, you know, embracing the beauty of life, I feel. And so there's also a new deck that I've been working with my tarot cards, called the Wild Unknown Alchemist. And it's about transforming lead into gold, when, you know, the gold doesn't have to be something of a material aspect. It's more so of that feeling that we get within ourselves of what we value, like another man's trash is another man's treasure sort of deal. So unfortunately, with the way that Christianity was taught, with that sort of like rigid rule of authoritarianism, I think a lot of people are starting to like finally shed that and step into more of a realm that we should be open with our hearts and love thy neighbor, right? Like Jesus died for our sins sort of deal. And that's actually helping us all sort of evolve into this collective conscious, which is only just now becoming like more and more prevalent today, as more and more people have their spiritual awakening. And so, yeah, you're right about us all coming back, you know, to God, or at least having this sort of revolution, because now we're walking in the steps of the lives that we used to have, but with a new perspective, and it makes everything seem brand new.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Now, I have a theory too, since you said that, like with the state of the world, like I'm very much a believer in like everything happens for a reason. And like when I look at the state of the world, there's a lot going on, and like depending on how you want to view it, like I can look and I can be like, okay, like the world is trash, like there's like, you know what I'm saying, like with all of the things going on. But the other thing that I see that's happening under the surface is that collective conscious waking up, and it almost feels like, to me, like it's almost like things had to get rough.
Worse. Yeah. Before they could get better.
Exactly. Because that's what makes people kind of like, that's what has people like looking around, like, you know what I'm saying, and being like, hold on, what's going on here?
Have I been eating pig meat for the like that sort of thing? But
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, keep going, please.
No, but like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, you know what I'm saying? With things happening for a reason, like, do you think with your spirituality has it transformed like your outlook on this world now?
Yeah, absolutely. Because beforehand, I think I would be a bit more closeted about my spirituality. One, because I was afraid of being judged and ridiculed and seen as a demon, like the Salem witch trials sort of deal.
Yeah.
Right. And so we know how quickly one can turn against one another simply due to an error of rationality and judgment.
Yeah.
But but secondly, like I do feel like we're also growing as like some sort of like consciousness of Mother Earth. And so like the reason why I say that is because I think we are being reminded of the value of our humanity as sort of like technology rises with us. But I'm also thinking about how this new way of spirituality, right? Like people call it New Age spirituality, is sort of like creating an antithesis to how the world used to function, and that's intimidating to a lot of people because like they don't want to lose their grips of power. They don't want to lose that. Nevertheless, you know, the world must change. The world must adapt. The world must evolve. The world must advance. And honestly, with this sort of like new outlook coming out, I do think there might be some sort of like new iteration of Christianity coming about as well, almost like a New Testament to the New Testament.
Ooh.
So, as far as what that might be, I'm not exactly sure yet, but I think what we're doing right now, trying to define that, is exactly what's helping us as a collective really come into more understanding with what it means to be connected. So
Yeah, fact.
We got the game fucked up.
True, but that's because people see females as they just want them for their body. Like they be like, oh, she did. They just trying to catch a quick nut. But behind that, you got people who got feelings, emotions, all of that. Like they are damaged. So it's up to you. Like if you really want a queen or you want a wife, you gotta be on your already. You understand what I'm saying? Like you gotta be mentally, physically, and emotionally ready to come with that real stuff and understand that she damaged. So there's like conversations that she mentioned about her ex or the situations that she been through. You gotta take that, bruh, and understand and use it and not make those mistakes because she's telling you what she been through. But it's up to a man to listen and be like, man, I don't want to hear about that nigga or whatever the situation may be. But if you're a man, you're going to sit there and listen to what she has been through because you know not to make those mistakes that she's telling you why she's damaged. But niggas don't like to listen or understand any of that.
but I mean, at the same time though, like both sides get damaged, right? And it makes me wonder. It's just like why you don't want to hear it because it makes you think about the times where you got hurt, where you got damaged, and you ain't trying to go there.
It's not
because like, you could be doing the same thing. You could be doing the same thing with her. Because like the thing that we don't understand sometimes is just like depending on who you rocking with. Now, some people use the things that they've been through as an excuse, and some people are telling you what they've been through because they just letting you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm having a conversation with particular people that are like real close to me, and I'm telling them like the ins and the outs, like, hey, my last relationship went like this. It made me feel like this, because I'm not telling you for my own fucking good. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you so you can understand me more, because this is a partnership. That's what people don't understand. Like, this is a partnership. Like, I'm telling you so you can understand me. I'm trying to understand you so we can learn how to work together. And like, you know what I'm saying? And that takes, putting that pride down, putting that ego down. And you know what I'm saying? Really understand it, because when you love somebody, that pride, that ego ain't gonna matter the way that it used to. Because if that's in the way, sometimes that's why people relationships don't be working. You could be with the right person, but your pride and your ego too big to actually make it successful. Sometimes
Damn.
these relationships aren't working because of something. It's not because of that other person. To be like, oh, you done went through shit. Oh, you went through trauma. You, motherfucker, you been through trauma too. You been through shit too. Have you dealt with your shit? Why you want other people to come dealing with their shit dealt with already? Have you dealt with yours?
That
Why do her feelings make you uncomfortable? Because they shouldn't.
at all.
Why, you know what I'm saying? Why does that make you uncomfortable? Because it shouldn't. So you should be asking yourself more questions. But we always, it's so much easier to blame that other person for being flawed instead of being able to acknowledge the fact that actually I'm flawed too.
That's deep right there.
Be like, actually, I'm flawed too. Be like, actually, we got a lot of the same scars, honestly.
Yeah.
And that shit makes a hell of a difference. That shit makes a hell of a difference. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? You know what I'm saying? And when you find that person that you can actually communicate, actually y'all ain't gotta argue all the time. Because sometimes that's what it is. If a motherfucker told you, like, you know what I'm saying, what's some shit that people like, I just need reassurance. Is that a hard thing to do?
Hell no.
Fuck
Let
no,
me
it
know
ain't.
that you still care and all of this stuff and all of that. Let me know. Show me the appreciation. Show me that I'm the only one. Just affection. You don't always have to be smashing or nothing like that. Give them a hug. Give them kisses. Hold them. Send them a text message at work. I know you at work, but I was thinking about you. Send them I miss you. The littlest things matter to a female, but niggas fail to realize that.
Yeah. And shit could be so simple. It's just like, why you don't want to show her? And if you feel that way about her, like if you actually care about her, why you scared to show it?
Because at the end of the day, I feel like a person who's scared to show them emotion, they don't know. That's a tough question. Because at the end of the day, you got to think about this. That's a generation. What if your parent never showed you love? So how can you go to a female and try to show a female love? Or how do you know the steps? Or you can't take it to, say for instance, you just in that household where there's one single parent as a female and you don't have a father, your grandparents wasn't in there, or no daddy figure. And your mother is the only one showing you love. How can you learn to love a female from a man point of view? All you got to do is learn it on your own. So you got to go in and make those mistakes, or sit back and realize, hey, what am I
doing? Exactly. Because you know what I'm saying, and that goes back to the beginning of the episode. Excuse me. That goes back to the beginning of the episode where we talk about how, like, the things that you've been through, this shit goes deep. That's why I think everybody needs therapy. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. And it's nothing to be afraid of, because sometimes we got to get it out, because all a therapist does is ask these kind of questions to make you reflect like that and to make you think about these kind of things. Because when you go into that space, you can understand, like, hey, like, why am I uncomfortable showing my emotions? Actually, like, I really fucking love this girl, but I'm scared to let her know that, because the last time that I felt this way, somebody hurt me bad as fuck. Or like, I don't know how to communicate, because the way that I was raised, I don't really understand my emotions. So I can't really tell you what I'm feeling right now. I just know that I got these feelings that I can't really handle or deal with. Actually, instead of me being like, oh, I can't have a girl like you, like, actually, let me figure out how to love on myself. Let me figure out how to heal those wounds. Let me figure out how to get past this so I can get what it is that I want. And you can apply that beyond relationships. You can apply that to, like, career. Like, damn, like, why am I working this job that I don't like? Why am I staying in this living situation that I don't like? Why am I doing these things that I do? And really, like, asking yourself some of these things that matter, because at the end of the day, if nobody ever told you, you matter. You matter. Your feelings matter. What you want, it matters.
I had to learn that the hard way, bro. I just me being 100. I had to learn that the hard way through every relationship that I've been with. I'm like, man, my voice don't matter. My voice don't matter. And then, are my feelings. And motherfuckers was just like, hey, bro, I wouldn't be asking you this if I didn't care, or whatever the situation may be. You got to have that person that's adamant about it. And like, okay, I understand that you going through stuff. I'm also going through stuff, but we here to listen to each other problems. So maybe we can come to a solution through both of it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's been a humbling experience, man. We took on our first 3 clients just this past month, and we got 3 more coming up, and then we got a major contract with a major company coming up in the month into March.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So has this journey, well, you kind of alluded to it, but has it been what you expected?
For the most part, yeah. Like I said, man, and I want to be completely honest. Being an entrepreneur is going to require a lot of sacrifice.
Absolutely.
And what I mean by sacrifice, time, effort, and sweat, financial sacrifice. We pouring our own money into this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We pouring our own money into this. Sometimes I might have to go and, pick up a broom or something and go out, and, we got a cleaning company as well. I might have to go if somebody calls off or somebody doesn't come in. I'm going to go sweep. I got to be the janitor, the CEO, look, the trash man.
You can't be above none of the work. You can't be
none
above
of it. None
nothing.
of it.
Yeah.
None of it. So it's been a humbling experience, if I do say so the least. But I am so excited. I've after starting our own company and looking into this own company, excited for others. I have been ecstatic to just not only just bring others into this conversation like you and Dominic and Chris Perry and my cousin Dominique. Talk to her a lot and get her advice on it. I see others that are wanting to emulate this. Sorry, tongue tied. But I see others that are willing to just jump out there, start their own company. I have so many people that are in my inbox telling me, Trey, how do I start my LLC? How do I do this? What do I go about doing that? You know what I tell them? Go ahead and give me a call. Call me real quick. I am not the type of person that's going to sit here and, well, you need to give me your credit card first and put down a down payment of $50 and I'll tell you then.
Okay. Because I show people how to make a podcast in a minute. I've done it.
You hear me? I'm not doing that. I know we all got to eat.
I Googled it. I didn't pay for it. I didn't pay for it, so why are you going to pay for it? That's the part that I don't understand about our community. It's just like, I get it, because like, even it's like, this is free. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is free. Like, would I love to pay y'all for y'all time to come on here? Absolutely. I ain't got it right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, we ain't that point yet. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, if I had to Google it, why would I want the next, if I'm about uplifting other people, why do I want to, like, you know what I'm saying? I just pass the information along. Even when it comes to like people coming on the podcast and stuff, it's just like, look, like this is just what I come on here to do. Like, I want y'all to have an opportunity to boost y'all platforms and do what it is that y'all need to do. I love that. I don't need, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you ain't got to keep thanking me and all that kind of stuff. Like, let's just bring somebody else that you want to help promote too. Let's just keep on passing the favor.
That's all you got to say.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a community of them. Let's go.
Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a network. I'm trying to build a community. See, what I want to do is I want to bring people like you onto the podcast. And one, we can have interesting conversations about any of these things in our respective worlds. And like, two, if somebody is just like, oh, I wanted to start a moving company, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Where they have those inklings, but they're afraid to talk about it. They're afraid to seek the resources. It's just like, well, here we are, right here, out in the open. Now you know, because sometimes people be doing stuff and you don't know that they doing it.
Yeah.
So you have a resource right in front of you, but you don't realize you have a resource. So all I'm here to do is be like, boom, let's connect people to the resources. Since we always talk about, we don't have, you know what I'm saying? Let's put together a network of people that want to help each other and make this easier instead of harder, you know? Because like, it's a lot of pay to play in what it is that we do.
Man, like, you gonna charge me to teach me how to open an Airbnb when I can go to Johnny, and Johnny's on TikTok and he got 30 seconds to tell me how to open this Airbnb and go from point A to point D. I think I'm gonna go to Johnny because Johnny's free.
Yeah.
But you charging me about $1,000, I'm coming into this with completely nothing.
Right.
You hungry. I'm hungry. Why we all can't eat?
Yeah, and you know what? I think there's a type of intention when it comes to business ownership, and you kind of said something about it before. Because when you starting a business, it can't really be about the money, in my opinion. It can't be because it's so much that comes with starting a business. If the only goal that you after and this is like popularity and money, it probably ain't the best place for you to go.
No, no,
Cause
no.
it's gonna get real old
Uh-uh.
real
Uh-uh.
quick.
It's
And
gonna
you
be
gonna
some days where you gonna probably have to go without eating. It's gonna be
okay.
some days where you didn't have to pay for leads, you didn't have to pay for subscriptions, you didn't have to pay for your website subscription on GoDaddy, and GoDaddy trying to wax you $178 because you got to pay out for a year. You got to pay
Yeah.
for a virtual office, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be some days where this is coming out of your own pocket. It's gonna be some days you have got to be so hungry for this, so hungry that you have to be so humbling that it's by any means necessary that I'm gonna do it, no matter what. No matter what. If I gotta get out here and I gotta
Okay.
DoorDash to support my entrepreneurship and my business, I'm gonna do it. If I
Spending
gotta
my last
DoorDash just
40
to
on
put
a
man,
non-disclosure agreement, okay? Like
man, do you hear
it
me?
gets that deep,
It
okay?
get yeah.
It gets that
Come on,
deep.
let's be real. Let's be real. I don't want people to I don't want people to get this perception that oh, I start a business, I can go work for myself, get into this industry where I'm selling clothes and boutiques or doing hair and this and that, and then I'm bringing so many clients in, I'm so popular, I got so much clout on social media, and I'm bringing all these people in, and then you thinking that going right out the gate that you ain't got to sacrifice nothing.
Yeah.
That ain't the case. That ain't the case.
It's
That
not.
ain't the case. Entrepreneurship, man. Look, it be some nights where you be like, look, either I pay for this contract or this operation agreement and these documents that have me legally right, or I go out and kick it this weekend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we've been out. We known to go out, go a couple places, and we like to date. We like to get out there. I think we have been in a house for the last 2 months since we had started this company. That's like, all right, we got to do this. We got to do that.
It's like that. It's
Seriously.
really like that.
Seriously.
It's so funny. Like, I'm sure people don't, like, you know what I'm saying, don't think that I do sometimes, but it's very rare. Lately it's been very rare. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live a life where I could easily stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning making posts, and then wake up at 6:30, go to work for 9 hours, and then come back and be doing other things. Like, it is straight sacrifice, and I've
And
been
still have a
doing it
whole 9 to 5.
for a
Have a
year.
whole 9 to 5.
And this is a job that I do not get paid for. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's just it's really work. Where it's just like, I sat down today, I swear. I sat down today in preparation for an episode, and I was just like, yo, I need a pre-show checklist. So I made a pre-show checklist. I was like, boom, this gonna get me right. I'm getting organized. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about
Right.
I'm trying to make my processes easier, make more sense, you know. And then after
I
get
get
done
you.
making it, I get
I
done
get
making
you.
it. I'm like, the checklist needs a checklist, actually,
Oh
because now
man.
I done made an episode checklist. Now I need a pre-show checklist for the interview. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's exciting. Like, that's exciting, dude. How do you feel like when you have something like that in your hands? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes that the thought, like, even with what I do, like, the thought of where it can go can be a little intimidating sometimes. So, like, how do you deal with that? Do you just ready to take over, or how is that for you?
Straight like that. Like, I mean, if you're not scared about what you're doing and you ain't pushing hard enough,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be grandiose. It's supposed to be big. Again, we only get one time to do this, and if you don't ask for that hot fire, like, if you don't make it definite in your thoughts and in your decisions that you ain't gonna be no less than that person, then you ain't gonna be that person.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's supposed to be a journey. It's supposed to be a journey into the unknown, which is the scariest journey for all of us. So that's why a lot of people don't like the dark, because you don't know what's out there. It's like you don't like the ocean because you don't know what's out there. If I had to talk about fears that I hear from a lot of people, it's not necessarily knowing that something is going to get you. It's not knowing if something's going to get you. And entrepreneurship is the same thing. Speaking on stage in front of people is the same thing. It's the unknown. So yeah, I'm lightweight terrified every day. But the thing that drives the force is having a great support system and knowing that the universe is talking to you, and that takes some time to be able to develop that skill and interpret that language that runs the rest of what the existence that's around us. But once you can hear it, and once you believe in yourself, bro, push, let's go.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that too, because it's so true. Like, I always say, if you got that seed in your mind or that thought that never goes away, it's not by accident. it, it's not by accident. I promise you, my dad looks at me like I'm crazy sometimes, because I think one time I was like, man, I'm building an empire. He was like, what you talking about? What are you talking about? I was like, I'm building a legacy here. He's just like, I don't know what you okay. It's like whatever you say. Like, go ahead.
Right.
Okay.
Pass me a soda. Empire pass me a drink real quick.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, like, okay, just go ahead, do what you do. But like, it does have to be grandiose, because it's just like, one, like, if you don't, you got to think you can do it. Okay, it doesn't matter who tells you can do it if you don't think you can do it, right? And it's just like, you gotta have something, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I first had the seed of a podcast, I'm just like, a podcast? You don't even like to talk to people. Like, you know what I'm saying? You are the quietest person in the room, and you want to do a podcast. Make that make sense? But in time, even going through this process, it's just like, actually, no, like, all of those things fit me, because even when I was playing, you know what I'm saying? Because I was always being shy, because I was nervous of what would happen. But like you saying, getting out of that box and getting out of that pocket, it's just like, hold on, wait, you like to talk to people. You always have. You're not actually not that introverted at all, honestly. Like,
And it's about timing. It's about timing. Like, again, you look back on all that stuff, and it's giving you the experiences, that observance that you got the opportunity to do because you weren't trying to be in the center of attention. I mean, because I was the same way. Like, 100. Like, I tempered my pop out. Like, I was like, nah, I'm nervous about what's gonna happen. So let me make sure I got my gun straight before I jump into this gunfight. Because once you jump out there, once you start putting out content, once you start being seen by people, then you're seen. Like, people won't unsee you, especially if you do it the right way or the wrong way, or you can do it either way. But like, you're there now, and a lot of people only get one opportunity to do it. So sometimes that's the universe tempering you. And that's another way to know that you were put here to do a certain thing. And that thing will reveal itself when that thing is time to reveal itself, but it's not time, because you see a lot of people that get out and make it happen and make it and get all this stuff, and then they end up crumbling under the pressure, because it is pressure. Like, everybody's not built for that type of light, but when you are, you are.
Yeah, that's true. I like that you said that too, because it's funny how we see different sides of things. Like, even going back to, like, what you said about how much you worked when we were little kids, I didn't notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess when I look at it now that I'm older, I noticed, but I never noticed when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because from what I saw, you was at home with us every day. You know what I'm saying? You was always talking to us and having conversations. And to be fair, I think a lot of, why I like to talk and, have conversations and, like, just do even this that I do right now is just because like as we were growing up, a thing that you would be good for is always talking to us, always just talking to us and like talking to us about life and just like instilling wisdom and just making sure that we had the things that we needed for life. And I remember you would always say it, be like, even when I'm long gone, you still say it, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, even then, if I wasn't trying to listen in, I still know what you said. And now that I'm older, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of those things that you did and mom too just kind of made us who we are as people. And I think, like, you know, even though you might not have been as present as you wanted to be, like, you know what I'm saying, the things that I was able to get from you helped make me a great person. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I see every time I get on this podcast and I'm able to talk to people, I see me. You know, I see the you in me.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I kind of like enjoy the most. Like, it's the part that makes me proud. You know what I'm saying? To be your daughter, because I can see myself. I mean, I can see you in me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but that's that go through generations, cause you know how I felt like that about my father. You know, when he left, you know,
Uh-huh.
I feel him in me, like, and how I deal with people, and some of the things that I do, and then I just remember how he was, and you know, like, sometimes, man, when people are alive, you always see the worst in people, and
Mm-hmm.
when they gone, you see those qualities, you know, you see those qualities that you love and you respect, and stuff like that, and you know, and I mean, I appreciate you saying that, because that's like giving a person they flowers, you know, while they're alive, you know, and then cause so many times we don't tell people, you know, and then when they gone, you got memories, but you didn't do shit about it when they was alive,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then like I say, I wish I could, you know, some of the good qualities my father had, I wish I could tell them, you know, about some of those good qualities, because we always heart, we would let them know on the bad qualities we had,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes was good, you
Yeah.
know, because you know he was a good person.
He
I'm just saying
was.
he was a good person. And, you know, I feel blessed, you know, because I always think, man, when we grew up, I always think when we grew up and stuff like that, man, people parents was out there drinking beer, taking shots, and you know, my dad was going to work and washing his car and then hang out and then go in his shop and build starters and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, man, my dad. See, when you young, you be like, man, my dad a square, man. He ain't out there with them guys talking about women and drinking out the same bottle, sitting on the porch. You know, them kids, parents look so good, man. Then when you get old, you be like, man, I had a bomb dad. You know,
Right?
he was
That's how I
about his
feel.
business. He was about his business. He was about his business, man, and he make it. That's why, you know, and all his sons, man, they say they about their business, man. And then you can see the ones that they father was out there. Them niggas ain't about their business, you know, and stuff like that. So you learn. You just learn the difference in things. That's all.